This is a tutorial on how to edit the appearance of screens. One of the new features of Dynamic 3i is it allows for various screen elements to be manipulated. We can change the prompts, fields, and hint lines. And by doing so, you can customize these screens to fit your own company needs. Perhaps there's some fields or prompts on the screen that you want to stand out so that when a user comes into this screen, immediately their attention is drawn to that particular field. Or there may be some fields on the screen that you will not be using and you'd like to remove it from the screen to simplify the appearance of the screen, and you'll be able to do that also. In order to remove fields from the screens, they have to be fields that are not mandatory. For example, in this screen here, the country code is a mandatory field, and so that wouldn't be able to be removed from the screen. But something like the telex number, or if you were going to take the internet address, fields of that nature can be removed from the screen. And this would be helpful in cases where users wouldn't be using these fields, and if the user was entering data on the screen, for example, if we remove the telex number field, when it got to the fax number field, the cursor would immediately go to the internet address. So it's a little less having to enter the return key to get through various fields that you may not want to use. In order to go into edit mode, we click on Help and then Edit Form. At this point, we right click on our mouse and we come down to the various elements of the editing capability, where we can move items, move prompts, all the way down here to the bottom, and we'll go through these elements in this tutorial. First of all, if we want to move an item, we click on that selection, and now we can see we're in Edit Form mode, Move Item. So we're at the customer code field, and what we're going to do is we're going to move the customer code field up to the middle of the screen up here. Perhaps we want to make it stand out more. And since we're still in the Move Item mode, we can still even manipulate a bit more just by dragging our cursor along. And with it comes also the prompt. Now if we right click again, we can now move the prompt. If we wanted to bring the prompt in closer, we still staying on the customer field, just drag our cursor over and that will move the customer number closer. And we can, if we wanted to bring it in a bit more, we just drag a little bit more and it'll come in a lot closer. Right click again. Say we wanted to widen this item. Perhaps we have a field that is a very long field, but the screen only displays a certain portion of the field, but we had room on the screen and we wanted to make it longer. We can widen it just by, again, just dragging out our cursor, and now we've made it longer. Now if we right click again, perhaps we want to make this heighten this field a bit just to make it stand out a little bit more. So we're now in the heighten item mode, and we just pull it down. Now at this point, if we wanted to go and move the customer field closer, we could also do that. Finally, what we're going to do with the customer field is we're going to put it in a different color to make it really stand out. So we come down to Color Item. We're going to get a color palette up on the screen, and in this case we're going to select yellow, and now this field will change to yellow. Next we're going to come down to the telex number field here, and in this case here we want to change the use of this field. We're not going to use it for a telex number, we're going to use it for our toll-free number. So what we're going to do is we've decided that in customer maintenance, if there's a toll-free number for the customer, we're going to have a specific field for that. So we're going to right click again, and we're going to come down here to the Edit the Prompt. Click on that, and now we're going to put in our new prompt, toll free number, and we update, and now toll-free number appears here. Now our hint line doesn't really match no longer what our field is, so now we can right click again and we can edit the hint line. And we can put in there enter toll-free phone number, hit update, and now we have a hint line that corresponds with our field prompt. Now what we're going to do is we're going to delete this field from the screen. We decide we're not going to use this. We want to reduce the amount of fields on the screen. So we right click again with our cursor sitting on the toll-free number field, and now we go up to delete item, click, and now the field disappears. So now when the user is entering data into the system, and as they're just going field by field by field, it'll go from the fax number to the internet address field. If for some reason we decide later on when we come in at some other point in time that we would like to put that field back on the screen, we may want to use it for some other reasons. We right click, click on display item, and display item will show us all the various fields that have been removed from the screen. At this time it's just a telex number, but we'd have a list here if we had other fields on the screen that we've removed. So we're going to select this, and now the telex in this case the toll-free number reappears on the screen. Now at this point we can save the changes that we made to this screen, and when we come back into this screen, the screen will appear in this fashion, and the form changes have been committed. So the only way to put this screen back to the way it originally was is if we came into the screen and we clicked on the restore form, and that would just put it back to the default values. Now I've manipulated this screen for myself as a user, but we can set up display roles so that currently I'm user SDC. Now if I go into user file maintenance GB4200, I'm going to quickly fast track into that program. We can set up display roles so that any user with a particular with the same display roles will see the same screen manipulated when they go into, in our case, the customer maintenance screen. So here I'm going to query on user SDC. And if we come down here, we can see the display role is called SDC test. What this means is any user in the system that has display role the SDC test see the same changes on the screens that I just made at this point, because myself as display role user SDC test have gone in there, manipulated the customer maintenance screen, so all users that are display role SDC test will also see those changed screens. This concludes the tutorial on editing screens.